everybody, and welcome to today's edition of Coffee Talk with Celestine Grace and our guest interviewer, my dear friend Fabiana. And today's special guest is the crocodile hunter himself, Steve Irwin. So let's everybody give Steve a
Hi, Steve.
round of applause, and he says, "Hello, mate." And he kisses, he blows kisses to everybody. So I ask my guests, what song would they like me to play for them to represent their life for whatever they're trying to get across. And Steve's choice was the theme from All Creatures, Great and Small.
Wow.
And while there's no words, just the choice of that incredible story
Tune, yeah.
is quite fitting for Steve. As everybody knows, the crocodile hunter's message and his life were about conserving wildlife and Mother Nature and Mother Earth and nature. And I'm so honored and blessed to have had Steve with me for a few weeks now, just waiting his turn to say what he wants to say. So
Oh, lovely. Oh my gosh, Steve. I went in the internet to see facts about you, and oh my God, you've done so many things. Introduced to the animals and wildlife since very young. You love them. You became very passionate about them and the environment. So I cannot even say some things about yourself. I simply wanted to say, would you like to add anything about what already the web says about you as to who you all really are?
Well, when I hear Steve, I hear him in his Australian accent, and just as he was when he was here, and I'm grateful because it makes it easier to identify him. But if my Australian accent is off, I apologize. I'm just mimicking what I hear. So there's a right lot of stuff on the internet about me and my life and my life goals. And what I'd like to say is thank you all, because yes, to highlight what I was trying to do was to get love and love again to Mother Nature and her great creatures. All of them, big and small. Fur, reptilian, gills, human. I would not add anything. There's so much out there already, he said.
You know what I liked a lot? That you also added humans into that, because we're all one, right?
Oh, absolutely, mate. We're all one. The illusion is that we are separate. And when you realize that you are one, you can communicate, as I had with the animals. He's such an up energy, and he's so much fun.
I can tell. Oh my God. So, when I'll jump in directly into your soul contract, if you will. I mean, it's a bit of a rhetoric question to ask, what was your life purpose? Because we so many know about you, we've read so much about you, but is there anything about the life purpose when you took this contract in particular that you want to add to?
I was a lucky mite to have chosen this contract, and it was quite obvious on one part what it was about, because it was so publicly recorded and documented. But he says, on a personal level, was to feel that deep and all-knowing love of a family and a woman that loved me, no matter what idiosyncrasies I might have had while I was here, and a family to help further my passion and to share my passion. My other life purpose was to spread that to my family, which I did quite well, I might say, so that they can continue on and on and on.
And we still hear about it. I'd like to first to stop to the environment before going to the wildlife. I'm very passionate about environment myself. And your involvement was so much spread amongst the wildlife and environment. Can you please elaborate on the environment? Did you mean to only view it as habitat of the wildlife or wider?
When you think about it, Mike, the environment is the habitat of the entire population of the entire world. Human, aquatic, mammal, everything. Everything. So to say that I was just only doing that on behalf of the wildlife population to promote environmental awareness would be very narrow-minded, because I believe, as that I said, we are all one. So is the environment to each and every one of us. It is wildlife, and it is not unique to human life. We all must share it.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Now, we only on the web we read about your beautiful activity and all the movies and the campaign, really. But we know very little about who did you fight with, if you will, because you must have confronted with somebody, some entity, and by that I mean, companies, organizations, countries, if you will. Can you say anything about that?
Well, he sits back and he chuckles and he goes, I pissed off a right lot of people, I might say, in my time, but I didn't really care.
Yep.
If their intention was not pure and to help and to nurture Mother Nature so that our future has the chance to observe wildlife and the earth and everything in its grandeur and beauty, then I have no time for that. I had no time for that. I pissed off quite a lot of people. Yeah, many Australians, many people, many people that had to do with the zoo. I was quite good at pissing people off and quite good at not giving a rat's ass about who it was I pissed off. When you have and can use your fame and your notoriety as a tool,
yeah,
then you were blessed, and that's what I did.
Were you ever, okay, here's only based on what I thought I heard today when I was writing the questions to you, and I was receiving sort of some information. And yes, I heard zookeepers, and you did not agree with some of those practices. They didn't look right to you. That I heard. But organization, companies, big companies, that were spilling substances.
Oh, absolutely.
Did I get it right? Okay.
But when you're in the spotlight like I am, like I was, there was no way that they could have gotten rid of me and not started this big, huge investigation. And I was pissed off enough to keep pushing. Because if they were going to kill me, that would have blown up everything and put them right out in the forefront. So at least I got it cleaned up and they didn't get to suffer their reputation. But I was
that was
not
fantastic.
Going to go back on my word and my promise.
It was fantastic that you put it out there in the wide public, in the documentaries and television, instead of simply writing about those things, because that would have been so easy for those companies to intimidate you once it was so much spread all over. Oh.
Well, he laughs again. He's so stinking cute because he just giggles, right? He leans over and he goes, that was also by design because, you see, people can read things and be very detached still from that situation. But bam, once it's in their face, right there, they can't ignore it. They can't ignore it. Those, as you say, can't be unseen, those images, and that was the purpose.
Yeah. They were broadcasted in so many countries. Actually, it's faster to list the countries where these documentaries weren't broadcasted in the whole world rather than listing where it was. So, man, bravo.
He takes a bow.
Now, I also read something about, let's call them controversies. Inevitable, right? Some sources refer to you as disturbing the wildlife, especially whales, seals, and penguins, while filming. What can you add to that?
You know, you're always going to have your detractors. But how? And I'm going to ask this of every single body watching this. How do you learn about anything to help or to know how to help or when they need help? Every single one of these detractors. This situation was an endangered species. Whales are endangered. Seals at some point will be endangered. You must observe. You must learn to know how to help. And if I disturbed nature for the few hours that I was there learning about it, then it was for the good of the all. Those few hours lapse into the darkness of many hours of time and has of no consequence. But what I put out there will last forever.
True. That is true. And I do have a feeling that I'm not saying free thoughts of these newspapers or whoever referred like that about you, but I have a feeling that that was exactly how those objectors that we spoke a moment ago went about. They spoke through these sources, if you will. At least this was what I got this morning.
When you're dealing with the general population, billions and billions of people, love, you're going to get one or two that disagree, he says. But when your intention is pure and of noble heart, meaning for the highest and good, and the highest and best good of everybody involved, then you keep going.
Oh, yeah. Steve, I'm sorry, I'm going to mention one more of these controversies that the press were mentioning about you. Another one said he overestimated man's or your power over wildlife, or underestimated the undiscussed power of wildlife on us humans. What can you add to that, please?
Who said this?
It was one of the controversies listed into the page that I read.
And he said, one more time? What was that one more time?
You or men overestimate our power towards wildlife, or vice versa. Underestimate the power of the wildlife on us humans. In other words, you underestimated apparently the dangerous species.
No, I beg to differ. He says, I always respected and never estimated any part of that power I was not assessing as compared animal to human. I was observing and watching. Did I underestimate when the praying mantis shot me in the heart? I allowed my excitement of being so close to that incredible creature cloud my judgment. I believe that
one
we are here
journalist
to
who
live in harmony with and observe each other and not harm each other.
family.
Yes. He goes like this,
Love,
my favorite.
love at first sight.
Yeah, right. Not too many Sheilas out there that would venture out into the outback in the wild and watch me jump on the backs of alligators. She had quite the heart. I knew immediately she was the one. She had the heart for wildlife and conservation.
Terry.
Terry,
She's
oh my sweet, my one and only, my Terry.
yeah. Oh my God, what a love story. She supported you, followed you, motivated you in everything that you did. She was your fan number one.
Absolutely, and I was hers. She and I, mites from the beginning, and just never ever would have separated under any other circumstances.
Oh yeah.
He's beaming. He is so proud of his wife
It
and his family. And when he refers to Terry, he just holds his heart and he gives her a hug. And, you know, he says that he couldn't have picked any better of a partner for this particular incarnation, and that they've shared many before.
Oh, wow.
And that he is quite proud of her carrying on the legacy of wildlife conservation and environmentalism. He's so close, I'm sweating. I have to turn the fan on. Okay. Okay. There we go.
And so you had other you've met in other lives with her. So you're probably soulmates.
Yeah, absolutely. He says we've shared lots and lots and lots of lifetimes together. Soulmates, twin flames, sparks of each other, the yin, the yang, however you want to call it.
Wow. And you have two beautiful children, Bindi and Robert.
And he lights up like a Christmas tree when you said Bindi and Robert, and he goes, oh, my babies, Bindi, my Bindi, she just carried it on. She's so smart and so pretty. I couldn't say enough. And me boy, Robert, oh, Robert, I love you, man. I'm with you all the time. I couldn't be prouder. I'm the proud pa. He's, the apple didn't fall far from the tree with the Robert. He is going to do lots of good work in my name. And I'm with them all the time. I just love them so.
Oh my gosh. Since we are, look, I mean, I wrote them in a line, Terry, Bindi, Robert. Steve, would you like to say to each of them a message, something?
Terry, my love, I know it feels like lifetimes that we haven't touched, but you know that I'm around you all the time. You feel me, you see me, you hear me. You're doing it right, and it's a beautiful job you've done with our babies. I want to thank you and let you know that Carry on, mate. You're doing it right and in my honor, and I am proud of you, and I love you, and I will see you again one day, my sweet. Oh, Bindi girl, I couldn't be any more prouder than I am of you, you little Sheila. Look at you, a little chip off the old block. And looking so pretty, and gonna make me a proud grandpapa someday, and you know I'm there with you, baby. I love you. Oh, Robert, my boy Robert. Dad never left. I'm there next to you watching the snakes and the spiders. Because of you, Robert, I will live on forever. I love you.
Oh my God, I have goosebumps. Steve, oh my God, I could feel, oh my God. Steve, how was your crossover?
Quite shocking, to be honest.
You didn't expect it, huh?
No.
Yeah.
No, I did not. I was observing. I was so excited. I was that far away. And then all of a sudden, the sharp pain like I never felt before. And then I drifted off. And it was black.
Okay.
And I thought to myself, this is a light place to be. I had a little bit of a hard time understanding at first what went on. But as I was watching, and I was watching the panic,
oh, wow.
I fully understood what had happened. And honestly, it took a little while to acclimate to the idea that I had transitioned, because it was so unexpected and so sudden. But I had lots of mates there to meet me, to help me with the transition.
Who came to meet you?
Oh, family members, Jesus, source energy. I went right back to all of it. They were all there for me. I was having a hard time because my family. That was the hardest transition, part of my transition, was the family and watching the pain that it caused. But he says, many years later, here we are, and everybody is good. God, he's so great. He smiles the whole time. What you see on TV when you observe Steve's personality and his upbeat and everything and his smiley and his happy is exactly how he presents on the other side. And for me, you know, I see his khaki zookeeper outfit.
Yeah.
But I kind of mentally said, didn't you wear anything else? Like, did you ever get dressed up? But was that your uniform? And he laughed and he says, well, it was my uniform, but when I was on vacation, I would wear this, and I see just this blue shirt, like a linen shirt, and white pants, which is odd, but that's what he showed me.
Steve, you all out there are busy doing something. I'm curious to know, what are you doing there? What are you busy with?
Other than my family, I still stay very active with people who are trying to save Mother Nature, the earth, the air, the animals. And I send my good intentions, and I watch all the lawmaking. And he just looked at me, he says, I can do whatever I want, but that's my favorite. That's my favorite thing to do, is to still help.
That's fantastic.
So
That's
then
fantastic.
he
You came
shows
a little interrupted at the end, but
but then he shows me that he likes to swim with dolphins. Like, I feel like I'm in the ocean and swimming and dancing with the dolphins, and he said, yeah, one of his favorite things to do is swim with the fishes and hang with the family. And I just kind of feel like I'm on constant vacation, that everything he does, he loves so much that it doesn't feel like it's work, but vacation, play.
are you reincarnated again in this timeline?
He says not quite yet, but he plans to be.
Can he share with us as to what, or that's...
He's making me feel like he's going to come back as one of his grandchildren. I'm not sure if it's Bindi or Robert.
I thought so.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's Bindi or Robert who will produce the vessel for his next incarnation, but he feels like he can still do more while he's in the physical to help.
Wow. Wow. Hey, Steve, I don't have more questions, but I wanted to ask you, any closing message for us, for not only for your family, for us all?
Well, Eric had a question for him. My good friend Eric Medhus and guide. And
hi, Eric.
He blows you kisses, fam. But what he asked him and what he wanted to know was, what was it like to stare in the face of a wild animal that could take your life in any particular second of time? And Steve says that he was never afraid, that he always had the rapport with the animal, that he was there with love and not to hurt the animal. And that's what he projected from every chakra, every energy center of his being. And if he had feared, he'd have been dead a long time ago. He says, it doesn't mean I didn't have a healthy dose of caution. I wasn't stupid while dealing with the animals, but I wasn't afraid. That's when you remember what he dealt with in the crocodiles, that's kind of saying a whole lot about fear. Fear lives up here, huh?
Absolutely, absolutely. By the way, can I have a question about the crocodile, Steve?
Sure.
How we all think and know, we think that very dangerous and vicious animals, from your point of view, the human we know, but especially now, how vicious, which I know they're not, but how bad are they?
So, what he says is they're not bad at all. Something just flashed on the screen. I don't know what it was. Hold on. They're not bad at all. They're just simply living to do what they were made to do. And in the grand scheme of things, source energy on purpose did not give them the ability to reason, but to only act instinctually. And how can you judge something bad when they are simply acting on what Mother Nature and source energy gave them as raw, pure, and pristine? They are exactly what they were meant to be. They live in the moment. And that's what their purpose is to do, is to teach us to live in the moment. And his message for everyone, he said, is to remember that you only get one Mother Earth, and that the creatures on that earth, including the humans, are all so precious, and to treat them as such, and the environment, because once you ruin it, there's no going back to what you knew. So take care of what you have now.
Thank you.
He says, you're welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Steve. It's such an honor. And I'd like to just say to everybody, thank you for watching. And to my great Fab, thanks, Fab. I'd like to shout out to Eric Medhus and his mom, Elisa Medhus, which is how I got here, with Eric's help. And it's www.channelingeric.com. And of course, we have Coffee Talk. Subscribe, everybody, and wait for the next one. And www.divinemessages.love. Basics 101 on Facebook. Channeling Eric on Facebook. There's so much great information out there. And I just wanted to say thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, everybody. Much love, happiness, and a great day.